Golf Central on YouTube, brought to you by the Chrome Soft Golf Ball from Callaway.
World number one, Scottie Scheffler, teeing it up this week in Memphis. Scottie, just want to go back to your run in the playoffs last year. You were oh so close to winning that FedEx Cup. Can you just take us through what the last year's playoff experience was like for you?
Last year's playoff experience, I mean, obviously it was a pretty tough finish. It's not how I imagined finishing off the year last year, but learned a lot about myself, and I love being in the heat of the moment, stuff like that. And so it was a fun tournament. Obviously, I wish it would have worked out a little bit better in my favor, but gained some good experience and looking forward to this year's playoffs.
Well, speaking of this year's playoffs, we noticed that you're making some changes, especially with the putting, that you're possibly testing out a new putter. Can you take us kind of inside that process right now?
Yeah, so I've worked with TaylorMade now. I signed with them at the beginning of last year, I think, and it's been a great relationship. And obviously, I haven't been using a TaylorMade putter, and they got a lot of cool technology, and I've tested out a lot of different stuff this year, just in terms of, they ask, what do you like in a putter? And it was like, well, this is kind of the feels that I like, and this is what I like to see visually, and this was something that they came up with. And I tried it out yesterday, and it was really good. And I mean, it kind of has the weight feel of my blade putter that I love, but it's got a little bit more on the top that I can see my line visually, and so I'm going to test it out this week.
Obviously, I'm not a professional golfer, but I can only imagine that making a crucial change like that it's not nothing. It's a big deal. So what is the thought process behind making a change like that at a big time in the season?
I feel like it's actually a really good time in the season for me to be able to test something out. I mean, where my position is in the FedEx Cup, being number 2, the first 2 tournaments don't mean as much in terms of winning the FedEx Cup. I mean, I could win both these tournaments and still only have a 2-shot lead at Eastlake, and I really want to be prepared for the Ryder Cup as well. And so this is actually kind of a good time for me to throw some in, just test it out, just because I mean, Eastlake is obviously the most important tournament. No matter what happens at these 2, you got to play great at Eastlake if you want to win the FedEx Cup. So trying to kind of build into that tournament is what I would say is kind of the plan.
And speaking of the plan for the PGA Tour moving forward has seen so many ups and downs this year, so many changes. Your name was a part of that list of names requesting a certain set of changes for the PGA Tour. Where would you say you're at with your satisfaction level with the plan going forward?
I think everything's still in the works. I mean, still don't really know how to assess the situation. I'm excited that Tiger's going to be more a part of things now, and that's really was the purpose of the letter. Anytime you can get Tiger more involved with golf, it's a pretty good thing, and he has our best interest at heart, and so we're excited for him to be in the position that he's in now. And I mean, it's a lot of work, so it's a sacrifice for him and his time, especially now with his career for the most part being kind of in the latter stages, and for him to still want to be a part of the tour and be involved. And I mean, it's really for the guys coming up, and so we're very grateful for what he's doing for us, and I'm excited about it.
I know you can't see inside Tiger's mind, but what do you think will be his main priorities to execute as a member of that board?
I think he's done a really good job over the past year or so of getting the top players together and getting the guys that draw a lot of revenue for the tour together and on the same page. And when you got Tiger kind of leading the charge, he's a pretty easy guy to get behind. And so for us as players, being able to use him as a sounding board for things, and he reaches out to us and asks the changes that he can make. And so I think it's really good just having somebody that has a close relationship with a lot of players out here, just being involved with the board, and with somebody who has the influence on the game like Tiger has.
Enjoy the golf this week. Thanks for the time.
All right, thanks. Appreciate it.
Defending FedEx Cup champion Rory McIlroy tees it up once again in Memphis. Rory, I want to take you back to last year, this 3-week stretch that you had. How would you describe where you were coming into this week last year versus this year?
Yeah, so coming in last year, I was coming off the back of a pretty tough loss at the Open Championship. Felt like I sort of had some unfinished business. I was playing well all year. Didn't really have, not that I didn't have much to show for it, but the loss at the Open was really tough. So to sort of bounce back these 3 weeks and play the way I did and end up winning the FedEx Cup again. I wouldn't say it made up for what happened at the Open, but it was a really nice way to cap off what was a really good year. And then coming into this week, sort of similar. I've been playing some really good golf about having, the win at the Scottish was great, and but I just feel like I've played better than some of what the results suggest in terms of maybe not getting over the finish line as much as I should have. So. It's a great opportunity to come and try to, win another one, and my game feels in great shape coming in here, so I'm excited to get going.
I know golf is golf and things happen out there. Can you pinpoint something that's been a specific challenge for you that you're looking to execute differently as you tackle the playoffs?
Yeah, so I would say over the past few weeks, my putting has been, there's been days where it's been good, but then there's been other days where it hasn't been so good. It's just been a little inconsistent. And, the last tournament I played, the Open Championship, it was the same sort of thing. I had 2 days where it was really good and 2 days where it was pretty poor. So if I can just get the consistency levels up with the putting a little bit, I think I'll be right there.
Yeah, we did notice you testing out a new putter. Can you describe what it's like putting a new putter potentially in the bag at such a big crescendo part of the season?
Yeah, I just wanted something. I just wanted like a new look or just to sort of freshen things up a little bit and mix it up. I've went back and forth a little this year on putters. I used a different putter at the start of the season going into the Masters, and I've just been going back and forth. So I'm going to put another one in play this week and see how it goes. But I always have my sort of trusty backup there if I need it.
I want to shift discussion a bit to kind of the state of the PGA Tour. We know we have to do it. So you have a very great relationship with Tiger Woods, and he has been announced as a new player director of the PGA Tour Policy Board. Can you take us inside the mind of Tiger a bit, of why that's something that he would want to do and what you hope he brings to that position?
I wish I could get inside Tiger's mind. That would be great. But so I think from Tiger's perspective, he sees some of us sort of doing a lot of work behind the scenes and taking on quite a bit of burden, and we're playing at the same time, and I think that he's not playing as much anymore, and he has maybe a little more time on his hands than some of us do. So I think in a way he's tried to take some of the burden off the players that are playing regularly on the PGA Tour, but also he sees this, this is a as much as Tiger's done off the golf course, for him to be able to shape how the future of professional golf looks is, I think, is a big deal to him, and he cares really deeply about it, and he cares deeply about the PGA Tour, and for him to be able to step up for the tour and for all the players on that tour, I think speaks volumes, sort of to his character and so sort of where he sees himself within the game.
You mentioned that burden. Burden's been very much placed on you over the last few years. Where are you at with that burden right now?
I'm focusing on my own business and trying to play the best golf that I can. And when I'm needed, I will be there. But I've consciously taken a bit of a step back from it all. It's exhausting, especially with everything else that's going on and trying to play good golf and trying to live a somewhat normal life as well. Look, whenever I'm needed and need to be called upon, I'm certainly going to be available, but for the most part, just trying to concentrate on myself.
Here's to good golf this week. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.